Hey, eighth graders. Our video is going to be really quick today. It's just an overview of what you need to be doing with the text that you have in front of you, which is Chapter 5 of The Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian. Chapter 5 is called Hope Against Hope. You have the entire text in the packet in front of you because we want you to be annotating the text today for a couple of key things and completing all the stop and jots and questions. Your packet's going to be collected for your grade for today, so make sure that you're annotating and completing the stop and jots. Our objective for today is I can analyze how particular lines of dialogue or actions reveal aspects of Mr. P's character. So I'm just going to highlight that lines of dialogue and then the reveal aspects of Mr. P's character, because that's really our focus. So we're looking for how does what Mr. P says, how does what Mr. P says reveal things about who he is as a character? And we've talked a little bit about this with Rowdy and with Junior, but today we're focused on Mr. P. So what I want you to be doing is underlining Mr. P's dialogue throughout the chapter. And the dialogue means anytime that Mr. P speaks, I want you to underline it. You want to consider what Mr. P is saying and also how he is saying it. So not only what words are coming out of his mouth, but what emotions and feelings is he putting behind those words? And what does this reveal about his character? We all say things differently. We all speak differently. And what we say and how we say it shows a lot of who we are. So while you're underlining what he says, think about what is this showing us about who he is. And I'm going to model the first one with you. So I expect that on your packet, anything that I'm annotating, you're annotating. And anything that I'm typing, you're writing in your stop and jot boxes. Chapter 5, Hope Against Hope. Of course, I was suspended from school after I smashed Mr. P in the face, even though it was a complete accident. Okay, so it wasn't exactly an accident. After all, I wanted to hit something when I threw that ancient book, but I didn't want to hit somebody, and I certainly didn't plan on breaking the nose of a mafioso math teacher. That's the first time you've ever hit anything you aimed at, my big sister said. We are so disappointed, my mother said. We are so disappointed in you, my father said. My grandmother just sat in her rocking chair and cried and cried. I was ashamed. I'd never really been in trouble before. A week into my suspension, I was sitting on the front porch thinking about stuff, contemplating, when old Mr. P walked up our driveway. He had a big bandage on his face. I'm sorry about your face, I said. I'm sorry they suspended you, he said. And so I'm highlighting that. I hope you know that it wasn't my idea. After I smashed him in the face, I figured Mr. P wanted to hire a hitman. Well, maybe that's taking it too far. Mr. P didn't want me dead, but I don't think he would have minded if I'd been the only survivor of a plane crash that crashed into the Pacific Ocean. So Mr. P really only has 2 lines of dialogue in this first section. He's going to be speaking a lot more later. But I want to choose what I think is the most important piece of dialogue, and I'm going to say that the most important line of dialogue is when Mr. P says, I'm sorry they suspended you. And that's all I need to write. I'm just choosing the most important line of dialogue for question 1. But for question 2, I'm answering how does this line of dialogue reveal aspects of Mr. P's character? Or what does it tell us about him? So this line of dialogue reveals, and I think it reveals that Mr. P really cares about Junior and didn't want him to be in as much trouble. He's actually sorry they suspended him, even though Junior really hurt Mr. P. So that tells me that Mr. P is a caring person, that he cares about his students, and that he doesn't want to see kids punished for things that he thinks are an accident. So I'm going to say this line of dialogue reveals that Mr. P is a caring person and doesn't want to see Junior in trouble. So that tells us what type of a person he is and what he wants or feels. So what you're going to do now is continue. And you have the rest of chapter 5 to underline Mr. P's dialogue and make some inferences about his character and what that reveals about him. Remember that you're going to have your packet collected for a grade, and that it's really important that you're answering each of these stop and jot questions in complete sentences and annotating the text for underlining the dialogue. So if you have any questions, it's a silent hand in the air. And if you want to go and listen, you can go to the 8th grade ELA work page, and you can click to listen to chapter 5 on YouTube. It starts around 38 minutes, so you just change your cursor to 38 minutes so that you can listen while you annotate. Good luck.